What's up, guys, and welcome to whatever the hell this is going to be. We're still working on the
Something.
name, and we're still working on some segments for y'all. But my name's Lenny, and this is my co-host DJ. What up, DJ? The DJ.
What's up? My name is DJ, sometimes DJ squared, DJ the DJ, whatever you want to call me. Something, right?
Uh, um. So yeah, we're doing this podcast. We're trying to make it solely based around business. Don't know where it's going to go. Don't know what's going to happen with it. Don't know what it's going to become. But this is a test episode. Maybe it hits the air. Maybe it doesn't. We shall see in post.
I think we could do it.
Uh,
I think it would
all
be
right.
cool.
Well, the first segment is snack of the week. He has his snack. I have my snack. I'm going Nature Valley muffin, chocolate chip. I'm gonna finish it off right here live for y'all.
There you go. There you go. See, I got the butter nut bar from Members Mark. There you go, right there. You got the Sam's Club. Yeah, delicious. I love it. Dark chocolate and sea salt, and it has a little sprinkle of it. I looked in the ingredients of like a maple syrup.
Gives that little sweetness.
It's delicious. I love it.
But yeah, that's the snack of the week for those of you on the go. Again, what is it? Better Nut Bar and Nature Valley.
Better nut bar from Members Mark. That's Sam's Club.
And then also Nature Valley, the soft baked muffin, chocolate chip flavor. So those of you on the go, you need a good snack. Those are them. Pick them up at the store. But I don't know. Let's see. First topic. What do you want to talk about?
Oh man, I don't know.
So I guess we just talk about us, right?
Yeah, let's do it. So you jump in.
My name's Lenny. Some of you might know me from this little brand right here called Lift and Love Reacts. Not famous or anything yet. Maybe you know me, maybe you don't. But I've done podcasting before, and we're back just trying to do something else, and have fun with it and get businesses and people involved. So I think that's the whole thing of podcasting. It's this beautiful thing that you never know what it's going to be until you do it. And here we are doing it. So whatever this ends up becoming, I want to thank you guys for listening. And my name's Lenny. But I'm going to kick it over to the DJ because I will talk so much that
you're going to love our voices and hate it at the same time, I feel. I think a commemorative picture. There we go. So my name's DJ. David John is my full name. I am been an entrepreneur for over 5 years.
Oh, I've been an entrepreneur for 6 months. Sorry, I should have mentioned that. Go ahead. Hey, we're talking about business. I'm just some random guy. My bad.
Just some random dude just doing business, right? But I've been working bee for years, and I got tired of the 9 to 5 and following guys like Gary V, all the big guys you hear out there, and just I wanted to change that, and I love what I do. I'm a tech industry person. I've been doing this for like over 10 years professionally, and just wanted to up the game and do it the right way for our customers, our community, and just getting all around improving everybody overall. So I'm a tech integrator, tech engineer. So my brain revolves around this stuff constantly.
So let me just redo mine, and we can just edit that in post.
Do it. Hi,
so I'm Lenny. I don't have nearly the amount of experience that DJ has, but we work together on a lot of things. I own Lifting Love Reacts, Lifting Love, and the Lifting Love Foundation. I'm the executive director of that nonprofit. Lifting Love's been around 2 years. Nonprofit's been about a year, going on our second year. And then Reacts filed back in May, so 3-4 months. Third generation entrepreneur. My father owns a logistic company, and my grandfather owned a car wash. So it's kind of in my blood. Same story with DJ, though. I mean, really just kind of took that leap of faith. And, it's only been, 4 months, but, I've definitely been having the time of my life. And me and DJ met working a gig. Shout out to Dan at Party Time Entertainment. If you are on Long Island and need services, make sure you hit up Party Time. Great people, great family, but we met at a gig and never thought anything of it. Was just another guy who worked, and then I posted a story that I needed thumbnails, and DJ just swiped up, and boom.
you want to hear something funny about
Go
that
ahead.
gig? So, and Dan, I don't know if Dan listens to this, he'll laugh at it. So that gig, actually, I didn't know I was going to make
Oh,
it to. I had some come up with wifey because we were having our baby then right before
wow.
that. Um, and I wasn't sure if I was going to actually make it to that gig. So sure enough, Dan kept asking me, "Are you going to get here? Are you going to get here?" And sure enough, I was able to make it because I think it was in
It was. It
Nassau. I
was
think
deep. It
too.
was. It was deep, and it was that.
Solid
That
45
venue
at
was.
least.
We won't name names, but that venue was probably the most interesting venue. You had this little service elevator that we had. I think
Mm.
we took like 4 trips every time that we were there, just going up and down.
I've been, yeah, that, and it's gotten stuck. I've gone to that place actually for years doing AV jobs. It's always been an interesting experience to
But
say the
imagine
least.
what could have been if you didn't make it.
Exactly. I remember walking in and I remember seeing his mom. Shout out
Love
to Kathy,
mom.
and she's awesome. And I was like, oh, I texted Dan. I pulled up. I was there. I don't even think he was there.
No, it was me,
And
you, and I remember it because it was around one of the first lighting gigs. I was like solo.
okay,
Because Jim was the MC. Shout out to Jim. Kathy was taking pictures. I forgot who. I think Impact DJ'd for us, and I was lights, and you were video.
yeah.
So
And it was just, I remember walking in. I'm like, yeah, I'm here. And then I was like, who the heck's this guy? And I don't remember honestly. I'd have to like find the text, but Dan being like, "Oh yeah, no, show the new guy how to do it or something." But then I did video that night, and Lenny was rocking the lights, and we just
it
had a
was a great
great
time. It was a
time.
cool
Like,
little party. I think it was like a prom or something.
I think it was something like that. Yeah, because I remember it was like for one of the
Yeah,
high
it was one of the
schools.
proms. I think it was. I don't want to say. I'm not gonna say anything. Anyway, it was one of the schools out there, but we had a good time.
Well, shout out schools yet. We'll
Yeah,
leave
we,
it
we had a
there.
good time, and then I move, and all this stuff happens, and then I randomly was just like,
I never see his
yeah,
face
that
again,
was
and
the
I was
only
sad.
interaction we've ever had, and then
Yeah,
we reconnected on social media. So shout out to social media. And this is what happens when
mm-hmm.
you follow people and you support people. This is what happens. Opportunities that you never thought were going to happen. Now we're here doing a podcast. We've worked together. We've done some events together
for
on our own,
months.
and
Yeah,
it's just growing into what it should be. So this is your
we're grinding.
business
We're
reminder of the
grinding.
week. Leads are important. Follow up with people. Build relationships. That's going to get you
It's
further.
all about
That's going to get you further than
relationships.
anything else.
The relationships, I can tell you in a heartbeat just from my experiences and in total in my entire career is those relationships will take you longer than a job will, because you never know. Again, if I never met Lenny, we wouldn't be
It's
here
crazy.
right now. We wouldn't be
It's
talking.
crazy.
We wouldn't have done Instagram. I wouldn't even have followed him on social media had I not known. Because I remember him saying, "Yeah, I did. I've been trying to do YouTube. I do Reacts, and that's where I followed you. I literally I remember that gig. I hit follow on your, and I was like, wow, this is nuts.
Yeah,
Like
it's
it, just
it's crazy
following.
because you never know what's going to happen until it happens, right? And I think that's a big
Yeah,
thing. It's scary because you never know what's going to happen. But following up and following through and just being present in the moment, building relationship, it's such a huge thing in business. And some people are good at it, some people are bad at it. I mean, it just happens. But that's your quote of the week. Do everything you can to build relationships because it'll last longer than anything else. But I mean, let's get right into business here, right? Because this is what we're talking about.
let's do it.
How hard was it for you? I mean, especially you. You have kids, so I don't have kids yet. How hard was it for you to leave your 9 to 5?
So my 9 to 5 was really. I wish it was truly a 9 to 5, which sucks to say, but it never was a 9 to 5. Even though I say it was my day job, but I did live events all the time, and my days would literally fluctuate from like 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Or I remember right before, so right like when I started the company, I was still working my 9 to 5 job, we'll say. It was a union job in the city, and I remember doing 4 a.m. train. Thank God I actually lived like 2 minutes away from the train station. So like if I overslept, like I was able to just
You
jump
were
in and go.
chilling.
Like I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, I learned to sleep on the train like a baby. Like it was an hour and a half ride in the morning. Nobody wanted to socialize. Like just leave me alone, let me sleep. I cuddled with my bag, and that
Who's
was
this
it.
guy
And
cuddling his bag on the train?
oh, it wasn't just me. It was my coworker. One of my coworkers. Once we got to know each other a little bit more, we used to do it. You know, we literally looked for each other on the train platform. It was great, and it was just like, okay, well, night. Like we took like a 4-seater. I know you're not supposed to do that, but we ended up taking like a 4-seater, just put our bags on one, and then put our heads back on the other. It was
Crazy,
great.
crazy.
But trying to answer your question back, leaving it for me actually wasn't like I know what I
Mhm.
wanted to do, and I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I knew like what I wanted to do. And then actually COVID happened, and everything shut down here. You remember, I was right before you left. Actually, well,
The
you
COVID
only left for
blues.
I
say
said the
again.
COVID blues.
Oh, the COVID blues, yes. And them COVID blues. I remember them announcing it all. I was on the subway, and I remember hearing, "Oh, COVID's here," and I'm like, "I'm in the subway. If I got it,
Yeah,
I
like
got
there's
it.
nothing
Like
going
I don't
back.
know what this stuff is." Nobody knew what it was, so I'm like, okay, whatever. And then, sure enough, the next day, everybody stay home. That's it. And
That's crazy.
I'm like,
So,
dude,
so
like
was
this
COVID
is
like the deciding factor of like you really turning Tech Light into what it is today? Because you always did it on the side, right?
yeah. So it really turned into. I mean, it's been blessed since. I furloughed, and I was still on calls because we worked with a lot of the hospitals in
Mm-hmm.
the city, and they were like, "Hey, Deej, we need you to go out and." Either they were adding new zones, like because they had to quarantine people, do all this, new speakers, because they had all PA systems. They needed to have that in all
Yeah, in
the
case there's an
zones, in all
emergency
these
or
new
whatever.
rooms.
Yeah.
And I'm like, listen, I have 3 kids. I had 3 kids at the time. I have 4 now. But he said, hey, listen, like, I'm not going. But I have no problem helping somebody who is willing to go. So I'll do tech support. Give them my phone number. I have my laptop. I can remote in, give them a laptop. I can remote into something if it's like some with audio processor or their
Mm-hmm.
paging systems or things like that. A lot of it is computerized now to that extent. It's not so analog in the hospitals. And from that point, I was like, hey, listen, um, let's go. And I only had like a handful of calls, and the governor here shut completely everything down. Nobody moved. And I was getting phone calls during that shutdown period from a lot of clients that I had been reaching out to, and also some that I had just like literally just started a relationship with like a month
Mm-hmm.
prior. Like during when everything was slowing down, I'm like, hey, listen, maybe I'll help them out. They weren't phased. They were still operating. So I'm like, they were doing everything like, 6 foot distance, masks, all that. And before everything was completely shut down. And once that shut down, I had one client who actually they rent a school, and the schools were too terrified to have them, so they lost a lot of their equipment. They lost a lot of access to it. So I had a whole setup here that I had been investing into over the years: lights, computers, video processors, things like that. And I said, hey, listen, let's do it. And I was learning as I went with it too, because I wanted to know, not that I didn't know it, but I knew enough to be like, let me get your needs, and then I can tack on like, hey, we need to do this now. We need to
Yeah.
do this now. And it had just kept building. And I remember supporting them for months while shutdowns were going on, even through that summer of shutdowns. I actually ended up getting pulled back to that company briefly for like a month in the engineering department. We went through all that, and they ended up losing a lot of the contracts. I went I went off. They ended up letting me go. I ended up going off on my own, and I had 3 separate confirmations from my dad, who's now since then passed,
Sorry for
my
your loss.
grandfather, and one of my friends. Thank you. He didn't die from COVID though, which is a shocker, but yeah, that's another topic we'll get into later. And I had 3 separate confirmations, dive full in. So I was like, you know what? And I had applied for other jobs during that low period. Nobody knew what that was like when things started opening a little bit. It was like a sign of hope, and I wasn't getting any callbacks for anything, either due to shutdown or qualifications or whatever it was. I'm fully certified on a lot of things, and sure enough, that I was completely blessed, and I had client after client coming to me like, "Hey, I had leading people that were leading prior to COVID and video and live streaming and all these things that they fell behind because they stopped investing, and then they poorly invested into some things that should have been invested otherwise. So then they were lagging. So again, I ended up creating a team out of it. Me and a couple other guys that were my techs. And some of them still actually work with us today. They just completely kept. They're like, let's do it. Like whatever we need to do. So we got a lot of our clients have been churches, and I also have a lot of other not like secular, so businesses, not for profits, hotels, et cetera, that that over the years have reached out to us for help, and we've just been blessed that since then. Again, going through family situations, but blessed to be full time in it, and my wife and I always say whenever we're like, hey, we're not sure, should we keep going? And then God's like, oh, here's here, we got a request form right here for you, right here. And I'm like, oh.
It's so funny how
So-
similar our stories are because COVID is when Lifting Love started as well.
So tell me,
you had
your story.
something established already. That was the difference, right? And so like Tech Light was always kind of around. You just didn't know what it was going to be, right? It goes back to the main point. You never know what something's going to be until it happens, until you're doing it, and now you're doing it full time. So you went from working for somebody else and doing little side projects here and there to literally doing it full time, and now it literally supports your family. Me, that wasn't the case at all. I was working 9 to 5, just working regular jobs, regular schmegular jobs. And it's funny because like I've always had a hard time keeping a job. That was like the one thing. So I was always from job to job. Part of it is because I hated working for somebody else. And then the other part is I always kind of just went and found better jobs, kind of, you know what I mean? Kind of just moving up the food chain. And then COVID happened. And shout out to Reggie, one of my guys. We were in my backyard working out. COVID, all the gyms were closed. And Lifting Love was born. As this thing that was going to be like this fitness blog, and it just kind of turned into a million other things. We did a podcast, 145 episodes, over 60 guests. I was just grinding. I was working at it. And then we created Reacts, did really nothing with Reacts. And then the foundation was made. We fed 100 families in 2022. And then this past year was like kind of like my breaking point. I was like, I looked at I call her my wife, but she's my fiance, Gabby.
Shout out to Gabby.
Gifted Gab. We had a conversation, and I was just like, man, I'm miserable. So I moved out to North Carolina to be a fireman. Did it for about 7-8 months. Loved every minute of it. I thought it was great. I had the time of my life in the academy. Pushed myself, pushed my limits. I learned a lot about myself. And it was great. So during the academy, I was creating videos. I was doing reacts. And then fast forward to about April, I was just like, man, I'm so miserable. And it wasn't I hated my job. I love my job. I thought it was really fun. But I was miserable because something's missing, right? And and the thing that was missing was my love for just life in general. And I had the conversation with Gabby, and she was just like, you know what? Just do it. Put like all your energy towards it and really do it. So I put in like a leave of absence. I ended up leaving the fire department. We formed our LLC in May. I believe it was like May, like middle of May. And now we're Lifting Love Reacts LLC. We have over 2,000 subscribers. We also coincide as a social media agency. So I'm a YouTuber who does social media for businesses. And you know, I have a great time. We just recently signed 2 clients, so shout out to them. And you know, I've learned so much about myself in the past 6 months. I never would, if you would have told me 2 years ago, 3 years ago, that I'd be living in North Carolina, doing stuff I love to do. Like, let me just put this into perspective for people who don't understand. Last week, I'm just gonna tell you the schedule for last week going into this week, and
Do it. You're getting nuts like my schedule.
yeah, so it's great, right? So we joined like we've joined like a chamber, so like businesses or like, you know what I mean, like businesses, kind of like it's like a business group, right, where you, like other businesses talk, whatever. So we have those meetings throughout the week. I have like regular meetings where I'm trying to like, you know, book clients and get into that. I'm creating reaction videos, which, you know, we're going to be, you know, posting back again in October. Stay tuned. We dropped the breast cancer awareness merch, shopliftinglove.com. Go get all your Lifting Love merch, but the breast cancer line is important to me. We're going to be donating all of our profits to Susan G. Komen. So then this past weekend, we went to Festival in the Park. We shot a recap video for them. We also did public interviews out there in Charlotte. And then Sunday, we finally got to shoot this Nerf pilot video that I've been working on for so long. Finally. I know it's been like 2 months in the making. Every time that we've went to shot it, either Gabby was sick, it was raining, or it was 100+ degrees out. And then this week we're shooting a podcast. We're getting things ready. We just launched the StatFest Halloween, which is happening in Durham. And then this weekend we're going to the Carolina Panthers game to do public interviews and a game show. So it's like we get to do so much cool shit. And
it's so freeing, isn't it?
So the kids, one of the parts, I'll explain some, but some of the parts, one of the kids beat me in a Nerf battle, and I'm sitting there on the floor like, if I explained my schedule to somebody, hey, Sunday, you know what I did? I went out and shot Nerf guns for a video. It's great. I love it. It's a lot of fun. I never thought I'd be having this much fun doing my job in my life, and it's freeing. It is. I think that's a great term to use. It's freeing, but it's cool because this is mine. You know what I mean? Like this is mine. Lifting Love is mine. Nobody can take it away from me. Nobody's telling me what to do. I'm doing it. Like I do it. And it's cool because, you know, for those who don't know, DJ actually is part of the Lifting Love team. He does our thumbnails, and you know, one day we'll be able to pay him. And you know, he's a volunteer right now, but it's awesome, man. I'm starting to meet.
It's all about the relationship.
I'm starting to meet people who believe in the brand and see the vision, and you know, it's beautiful. But to get back to the main point, I'm a first-time entrepreneur, 3rd generation. No, like I said, my grandfather and my father both own businesses, and it's been this incredible roller coaster ride that I never thought it was going to be. You know, you have your ups and downs, but if you create something, believe in something, and you really, really understand the fact that this can be something so special, never give up on that. Never let off the gas and just go for it. Because what's the worst thing that's going to happen? You fail? Okay, big deal. We're only on this earth for such a limited amount of time. Fail. There's nothing wrong with failing. You know how many $1 million businesses have failed before? You know how many millionaires have failed before? Gary Vee says it all the time. He fails all the time. He makes mistakes. He didn't invest in Uber and it ended up blowing up. You're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna fail. It's gonna happen. Yeah. But at the end of the day, when I get on my deathbed, you know, in 50, 60 years from now, God willing, I'm going to look back and be like, man, Lifting Love, hell yeah. Same thing with you. You're going to be like, Tech Light, hell yeah. This is awesome. And we have that power to be like, I fucking did it. You know? And if not for us, for our family, for our kids, our future kids, and everything else that's going to happen. Sorry, I went on a tangent, but yeah, I'm learning from lifting love.
Fine. Hey, also another reason why we kind of thought about doing a podcast.
TED Talks.
Lenny has been pushing. Is our TED Talks, not TEDx, copyright pending. Not that at all. It honestly, like the way Lenny and I always talk to each other, it wasn't enough for a text message or the voice text, which is terrible, by the way. Never use voice.
Never. It was never enough. Garbage. It was always 3+ minutes of just us rambling and bullshitting.
So if you go on your phone and in your text, you go, let's see, right there. This is our text message bank. The little blue button that does your voice messages, and then me and him would literally. This is how we would talk, and sometimes there would be either a minute. What was it? You sent me one yesterday for like 40 seconds, which I think was like your shortest ever. Or like, I think I've sent it to him once that was like 10+ minutes. You know, at least 12 minutes, 15. I think I did 15 once when I was driving, which was hysterical.
You one time,
probably the better part,
sent one.
Which one?
That was so long that it did not come over as a thing. It came over as an audio file. That is the level of craziness is what I'm talking about.
But the thing is, these weren't just like jokes.
These were like well thought out ideas, things we're working on. Like some of the things
we're bouncing ideas off of each other and just like, hey, what do you think? No, what do you think?
I'd love to pay someone to go back and just listen to all of them one day and figure out what what we came up with. I think it'd be.
Oh yeah, and I'll save yours, especially if I'm out and about. I'll listen to it and then think on it. Like, how do I respond to his craziness? Because sometimes, listen, both of us have crazy ideas.
This is crazy. I have to go really far back. Oh, here it is.
Oh yeah, we've been texting recently.
Without sharing too much. You're still in there as DJ from Party Time, by the way. Stop. I swear, look at that. I swear. No. Look at that. I know, I gotta change it. I'll change it right now.
No. You have no idea. Right. Like literally up to like a month ago, you were in my phone as Lenny Party Time. I'm not even kidding. I finally decided, let me put his actual last name in my phone so I know who the heck this guy is.
That's how I save like everybody.
Yeah, if I don't know their last name, I'll usually do that. So especially your last name.
Look at that without revealing anything too crazy, as you see my setup. Dang, what just happened? It was like perfect before.
There you go. Well, still, I can see it.
Up and then it dropped.
Look at that.
But yeah, so you can see how it comes over, right? It comes over regular. No, he sent one that was so crazy that I had to save it to my phone as an audio file. It was like 15 minutes long. But this,
we'll find that and show.
I probably have it somewhere. I think I might have saved it. So if you give me,
we'll find it.
30 seconds.
30 seconds, okay. 30 seconds brought to you by TechLight and Lifting Love Reacts.
Doo-doo. Doo-doo, doo-doo, doo-doo. No, I don't have it. Oh, actually.
So now who else could you tell me that gives you that many voice memos other than Gabby, which she probably just called you directly?
Calls me, yeah, you're the only person. You.
I was going to say, she's not going to tell those to you.
I think it's only you, for sure.
I've tried sending it to other clients of mine, like doing it that way, because it's easier sometimes to say it but they can't answer the call at the same time kind of thing. So I'm like, oh, it's like a voicemail.
Yeah.
So I do that, but some of my clients are like, I don't understand how this works.
I enjoy it. I mean, I think it's just like, easier to get your thoughts out than just like a regular text message. Plus, when you're passionate,
exactly, it's like a text message without the text.
Exactly. When you're passionate about something, you also are like, yeah, let's do this. You know what I mean? So.
And also, so much gets lost in text. Like I've seen relationships end over text. I've seen, and it's all. There's no inflection. You hear text is very point blank. And you see it that way, whereas when you're speaking, it's inflection. You know, I had a customer even recently that we were discussing a project, and I didn't want it to be taken the wrong way over text. So I literally just said, can we just talk on the phone? It's much easier to do it that way because I don't want anything misinterpreted. I want it to be thought out, heard out, and they appreciated it more than anything.
Yeah, I think a big thing too is like, you know, just being in front of people or hearing their voice. Like I'd rather talk to someone in person, 100%. There's like if I could live in a world where
Oh
I'm
yeah,
like either doing sales or trying to get a subscriber, like if I had to get somebody, I'm going in person because I can sell myself, I can
yeah.
sell my brand, but like texting is just weird. You know what I mean?
Imagine doing your public interviews over like
Text.
text. That's not public at that
Hey,
point.
what do
Put it in
you
a group
like?
chat. So what's coming up for you next, Lenny? What's your next
We're
project?
going to the Carolina Panthers game this weekend. We're going to be doing public interviews. There's two other games we're going to go to. Probably the biggest one is the Cowboys game in November, which I have some things planned for that, so stay tuned. We also have Oktoberfest this month, Balloon Fest.
Nice.
We have, excuse me, I'm just scratching an itch. Balloon Fest, Oktoberfest, Stat Fest. I don't know if I'm missing any other fest. Let me look at my calendar real quick. This is probably our busiest month to date in history. There's a night
That's
concert.
good.
There's a,
It's never
there's a
bad to be
night
busy.
concert we're going to. A masquerade ball. Stat Fest, like I said.
That's great.
We have an Alzheimer's walk, and then we have a comedy show that we got booked for. Oh shoot! See, look, this is why we do things like this. I got to send the guy over the quote.
See,
What do you even use for
I
quotes?
can help
But
you out there. I do too many quotes.
I think I'm just gonna write. I'm just gonna
Way
send them
too
an
many.
invoice.
There you go. It costs this much.
But I mean that's really what we got on the agenda. Just a lot, man. Trying to meet a lot of people, do a lot of things, and get people to see the brand. Right, that's the biggest thing. We're working on a marketing thing right now where we kind of go to businesses and we hand out flyers. We have this little flyer behind us, as you can. Oh wow. As you can see, has a QR code on it, and
Can't scan it from here. Maybe I can
yeah.
display it on.
But we have that
it.
thing where we're over in 50 businesses already. Starbucks, Panera Breads, gas stations, restaurants, whatever. I mean, so we're just trying to get our name out there. Visibility. No one sees you until you're seen. That's a big thing in business. You know, I'm just gonna.
Exactly, and you work your butt off for it. And hey, listen, from what your the voice memos that I've been getting, that you tell me what's been going on, and I've just been overly impressed on, just seeing, knowing where you came from, and then how far you've come. And I'm like, those are wins. Those are huge wins that I've prayed for and I've wanted for you for months now. And I know you have the passion to do it. You have some that a friend of mine told me, and there's really not a lot on it. Maybe we can do a segment on it. It's called Grit, and Grit is one of my pastor friends. He said grit is defined as passion and perseverance put together.
Grit is
So it's when you're
passion with
passionate.
purpose. Boom!
Ooh, I
I
like
know.
that.
I just came up with that on the spot. Anyway, but it's true. I mean, I got to give all the glory to God, man. This is not what I ever thought it was going to be. And it's crazy to think what's going to happen because we haven't even done half the shit that I want to do. So,
Hey, listen, you see where you are and then where you can go. Listen, I did the same thing with a lot of things. You make your goals where you can, and then what's next? And all of a sudden, boom, you're at that point. You're like, wow, I got here. I can't believe it. Now, there's clients I never thought I'd be with. There's places I never thought I've been. I had a friend of a friend, client of a client that brought us out to not North Carolina. Eventually,
you're coming out here, man. Take light to North Carolina.
Hey, why don't you bring me out?
Make it happen.
There you go.
The universe.
We went to Connecticut a couple weeks ago, and I was helping them get up and rocking with what I knew, what I could help them with, and they're a small organization, but they're step by step. and it's only going to bring glory to God even much more.
Yeah, it's really cool too, because like I just think there's so much untapped potential, right? You talk about grit. I think a lot of people don't know that they have
Yeah.
grit till they have to go through and experience it, right? We're both in that boat where we both have built these businesses, and I mean you more than me because you've had more time. But we built these brands and these businesses that are going to live way beyond us. Tech Light Associates, Lifting Love Reacts, the Lifting Love Foundation Incorporated are all going to be around forever. And we're just kind of these vessels, right? We're just pushing it along, moving it upstream so that it can just keep going. And it's a beautiful thing, man. And did I ever think it was going to be like this? Absolutely not. Yeah, never in a million years did I think that we'd be sitting here doing a business podcast and just we're here. I think this is a great conversation. For those who don't know, this is our first attempt at it, and maybe this goes up, maybe it doesn't. Who knows?
Yeah, and we'd love to get anybody in the local community who wants to voice themselves. We'll give you our email, how to contact us, and we'd love to have you on here and just explaining your passion, your perseverance, how you got into your business, how you started leading, and what got you to that point. Whether or not you could be a retail worker, or you could be a business owner.
And that's the cool thing too, is that we're in two different locations, so we have two different pools of people to pull from. We want to do like a business of the month, entrepreneur of the month. However it is,
we want to support our communities and local businesses.
And that's
completely.
The cool thing too, is that like the internet is this beautiful world where you can look at all these negatives, but there's so many positives out here. And another thing for those who are a little confused on why you're listening on the Lifting Love podcast channel is that the Lifting Love podcast, we are creating it as the Lifting Love podcast network. We want to create and help bring visibility to multiple podcasts, all that are under our Lifting Love umbrella. So it's exciting, so if you haven't subscribed to the channel, and we're working on a couple other podcasts. The Lifting Love podcast is going to be revamped and started back in 2024. I think it's just a great way to just talk, get those thoughts out. People really, really love podcasts. I mean, I love podcasts. I literally have a screen open up right now for another podcast I was listening to right before we started this. And I think it's a great way to get out there. But we're just trying to help businesses grow and maybe get some eyeballs that maybe would have never known about them. So, if you guys have any feedback, any businesses you want to shout out, anybody who's an entrepreneur who wants to get the word out about what they're doing, we're here to talk to nonprofits, for-profits, big corporations, small businesses, mom and pop shops. If you're moving, you're doing something, we want to have you on this podcast. We don't know the name of it yet. We don't know what it's going to be, but
you guys have suggestions too. We're going to be thinking on it. Put it in the comments below. Let's see it. Any shout outs, people you think, send this video to somebody.
Yeah, I think we'll probably end up just putting this out there to see what happens. So again, if you haven't, make sure you follow us on all social media platforms, the Lifting Love Podcast Network. And this is all brought to you by Tech Light and Lifting Love Reacts. So if you haven't, make sure you also follow Tech Light Associates and Lifting Love Reacts, shopliftinglove.com. Tech Light Associates Incorporated. What is it? TechLightAssociates.com?
Yes, sir.
I mean, there's just a
TEKLITE.
Spell it right, God damn it. So we don't know what this is going to be. Will this take off? We will, but we need your guys' help. So
exactly, we're going to be as authentic as we can, and we want to support our community and just build this up. It's all, I've seen it more and more, and Lenny, correct me if I'm wrong too, but ever since COVID, unless you're a major corporation, but a lot of our small businesses, we've been teaming up as much as possible, because without us, then where's the community? Where's that? Because if we start having people shut down, then that's mouths that can't be fed. Healthcare can't be taken care of. People's pets, people's things, either it's a luxury or commodity, whatever it is, we're a community, and we're there for each other. And without us, then that's the struggle of it. Then That's why we want to support our community. Being in two separate locations now helps us be able to reach our communities separately, but overall.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, man. And again, it goes back to just people seeing what you do. We only have a small number of subscribers on the Lifting Love podcast right now, the YouTube channel. But this podcast network is going to grow into something, and when it does, we're still going to be here doing what we do. So,
exactly.
I guess this is us signing off for now. But until next time, you already know the deal. Lift love, crush hate. But that's Lifting Love stuff, but we're here. Until next time, man, make sure you hit the comments. Let us know what you think we should call it. Right? What do you think we should call this podcast? Any entrepreneurs or businesses you would like to shout out specifically? And what's your favorite on-the-go snack? Maybe, just maybe, we'll mention it here. All right? But another episode brought to you by Tech Light Associates and Lifting Love Reacts. Make sure you go check us all out on all social media platforms, Tech Light Associates, Lifting Love Reacts, and subscribe here on the Lifting Love podcast channel. All that to say, peace out.